Matthew chapter 2 verse 15, the author of Matthew makes one of the biggest blunders one can find within the four Gospels. Basically, for the context, Matthew chapter 2 describes the childhood of Christ and how during his childhood, King Herod was a threat to Christ. In a pursuit to protect Christ, Mary and Joseph move him to Egypt. Then after King Herod dies and the threat is alleviated, they move out of Egypt. Then in Matthew chapter 2 verse 15, Matthew says that this is a prophecy being fulfilled, which is found in Hosea chapter 11 verse 1, where it says, "Out of Egypt I called my son." Now if we actually read Hosea chapter 11, we realize the big blunder the author of Matthew made. Verse 1 states, "When Israel was a child, I loved him. So out of Egypt I called my son," referring to the Exodus. So it's obviously not referring to Christ. Now the next verse makes it even worse. It says, "The more they were called, the more they went away from me. They sacrificed to the Baals and burnt incense to images." Now what a Christian will do, they'll say, "Oh, but Jesus only fulfills that part of verse 1. This kind of exegetical framework is also known as typology. So now if we grant typology, what is the criteria one needs to meet to fulfill this prophecy typologically? Well, one has to be called the Son of God. And we see in Malachi chapter 1 verse 6 and Deuteronomy chapter 32 verse 6 that God is our Father and we are God's sons. Now to fulfill this quote-unquote typological prophecy in Hosea chapter 11, one must be God's son, as we all are already, and we must come out of Egypt. That is it. That is all the criteria one needs to fulfill to be prophesied within the Old Testament. So anyone who worships God and comes out of the land of Egypt is prophesied within the Old Testament in Hosea chapter 11 verse 1. You understand how goofy typological fulfillment would make this prophecy. So to simply state it, Matthew is wrong and he made up this prophecy. There is no prophecy in Hosea chapter 11.